for meal requirements on a case-by-case basis. The waivers also allow a waiver of the first week site visit requirement in summer food service program and the offer versus serve for summer food service program meals. So what does this mean? It means that schools can continue to offer meals free of charge to students and children in the community through the summer food service program for the entire school year 2021. Schools may choose to continue to operate the National School Lunch, School Breakfast programs instead of summer food service program. And the non-congregate meal, parent pickup, mealtime, and meal pattern waivers are still available. Residential childcare institutions, or RCCIs, cannot operate the summer food service program, and meals will continue to be offered through the National School Lunch, School Breakfast programs. We've also received some new guidance from USDA. We have had several questions in the past about after-school snacks, and we finally did receive guidance. The NSLP after-school snack service can operate simultaneously with the summer food service program during the implementation of the COVID waivers. Generally, schools must operate the NSLP in order to operate the after-school snack service, but the USDA recognizes that for the duration of the operations under the waiver, schools may be serving breakfasts and lunches through the summer food service program. So that's kind of an allowance that they're giving, that the schools are still providing meals, only under a different program. Schools that are offering non-congregate meals may meet the requirement to offer an enrichment activity virtually or in other non-congregate ways, such as sending home activities with the children, maybe providing something online that they can complete. The enrichment activity has to be offered, but the students do not have to actually participate in that activity, but it has to be available. Schools that serve snacks from the beginning of the school year can claim those snacks through the NSLP up to September 17th, and then they can switch to the at-risk CACFP meals for the remainder of the school year. The reason you can only switch after September 17th is that waiver that we received for the at-risk CACFP meals didn't go into effect until September 18th. So if you did serve snacks before September 18th, you can claim those under NSLP and then switch to at-risk CACFP meals for the remainder of the school year if you want to. There is a benefit to that because you'll receive the highest reimbursement for all snacks served, and that's 96 cents per snack. If you serve them through the NSLP, you do have to claim them based on their individual student eligibility in the free, reduced priced, or paid category. You can contact Stacy Morawski in our office to apply to participate in the CACFP after school meals program. We also received some guidance about 30-day carryover. The eligibility carryover period is paused during the summer food operations, and eligibility carryover allows the children to maintain their prior school year eligibility status for up to 30 operating days into the subsequent school year. An operating day is defined as a day that reimbursable meals are offered to eligible students. Schools that did not have any school lunch operating days at the start of the school year 2021 may begin the 30-day eligibility carryover period if they transition to the National School Lunch Program. This includes schools that had been operating National School Lunch Program at the start of the year, but then retroactively claim those meals as summer food meals. Schools that had a limited number of school lunch operating days at the start of school year 2021 must deduct any days where school lunch or school breakfast meals were served and claimed from the 30-day eligibility carryover period. However, these schools may resume the remainder of the eligibility carryover period if they transition back to school lunch, school breakfast. That does seem pretty complicated. Basically, in a nutshell, it means that if you're claiming your meals under summer food all school year, you don't have to worry about that 30-day carryover period. It's basically suspended. I'm not entirely sure if that means that if you're going to be reporting students eligible for free reduced price meals, you would include those that are carried over. I think we're going to ask for some clarification on that. And if schools do resume school lunches, school breakfast operations during this school year, then that 30-day carryover will resume. If you have any questions about this, you can certainly contact our office. We have received some questions about how the 2021 waivers will affect the school year 21-22 Title I allocations. Just to let you know that USDA and the Department of Education are coordinating on the best ways to provide timely information, recognizing that there's potential effects of the waivers on implementation of ESEA programs in the 21-22 school year. USDA does encourage stakeholders with questions about the waivers and ESA programs to contact the Department of Ed, and there is an email address there. And we do continue to have internal conversations on our options and next steps for dealing with the Title I allocation issues. And we at DPI have also been in contact with the Department of Education about these issues and continue to get guidance and request additional information regarding this. Doesn't look like all this slide is showing. So this slide was about the claims for reimbursement and some ways to make sure that you don't get repeated emails about claims that you haven't submitted. Basically, to do some type of action on every claim that is available to you. If you have summer food claims, and then you also have NSLP claims, or maybe even CACFP claims, even if you don't plan on submitting a claim for that month, you will, if you're approved for that program, you will get a claim for reimbursement. In order to do some action on these claims, you first pull up the claims that are available from your work queue, and then you can either decline the claim in that first pane or edit it. If you edit it, then you will choose to either select or defer the claim. If you defer the claim, that means that you're going to claim meals from that month into the next month because you had 10 or less meals in the current operating month. And if you select that claim, then you will be able to submit that claim for reimbursement. So essentially, the actions that you can take when submitting a claim is submit, decline, or defer. Again, if you have any questions, you can contact our office about this. And now I will pass it on to Melissa.
I guess I have to be unmuted. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today with some more updates. Lots of changes, and so hopefully we can get through everything quickly, and then if there's questions later or after the webinar, please feel free to jump in. The traditional summer food service program is almost unrecognizable right now, as it's changed so much with the USDA waivers due to COVID-19. In order for us to collect the most accurate program information so we can report waiver usage to USDA, a new program has been created in ND Foods called the Emergency Summer Food Program, or ESFP. The program is system and will run from October 1st through June 30th of 2021. We're asking schools to fill out one sponsor application and one site application for each active site in ND Foods. After today's webinar, an email will be sent to schools and will include a link to the webinar, as well as step-by-step instructions on how to complete the application process. In addition to the help document, we have 3 staff people who are trained and ready to assist you with any questions that you may have when filling out these applications in ND Foods. Those 3 people are, of course, myself, our newest employee, Amy Nelson, and then Kellen Lair, who joined our team last spring. Amy and Kellen can assist with the questions regarding the step-by-step application process in ND Foods. If you have specific program questions, in addition to needing help working your way through this process in ND Foods, then you can go ahead and reach out to me. Our contact info is listed at the bottom of this slide. Some things to know when applying for this program in ND Foods. All of the applications will be due by October 28th. For sponsors to receive the October claim for reimbursement, the application process must be submitted and then approved by our office. October claims will open on November 1st. I'm asking that sponsors submit their applications by the 28th, as this will allow time for the applications to be approved and for claims to be submitted prior to the payment on the 12th of November. We have to work together. In order to accurately complete the sponsor and site applications, school administrative staff and food service staff should work together to submit the information. The sponsor application contains mainly administrative questions, while the site applications are more focused on food service operations. This information must be accurate, as the meal types and meal distribution methods transfer over to your claim for reimbursement. If the site application does not reflect the current operations, then the information on the claim for reimbursement will not be accurate. On the sponsor application, there is a program budget. This budget portion is required under this particular program. Not all line items will be applicable to your program. Amounts entered can be estimated expenses for this program, but should reflect what the school anticipates spending from October 2020 until the end of the school year. We, of course, expect changes during the school year. We all know about changes right now. We know that some schools are switching from distance learning to hybrid learning to full in-person learning. When filling out the site applications, answer the questions based on your current operations. As things change, updated information will need to be entered into ND Foods. I've created a new ESFP handbook with some updated information. They're currently being printed and will be mailed out. So once your school has an approved application in ND Foods, we will mail you one copy of the handbook. The handbook contains program guidance as well as the forms that you need to operate your program. If you need additional handbooks, please contact our office. Here are some dates to remember. Even though we've already touched on a few, I just want to make sure that we understand what's due and what needs to get done. Here are some of the dates to remember. The applications should be submitted into ND Foods by October 28th. The October claim for reimbursement is due in ND Foods by November 10th if you would like to get your payment on the 12th. Claims are paid on or around the 10th of each month. All new sponsors should have already completed the racial ethnic data collection record and the site reviews back in September. All returning sponsors who already operated the program last spring now must also complete the racial ethnic data collection record and the required site reviews, but not until November 30th. This is because we started a new program year August 1st. These forms are available on the website, and they also can be found in the handbook. Once you've completed those forms, they can be kept with your program records. And finally, as programs operations change, if you have meal types offered that change, if you have meal distribution method changes, like you add a non-congregate meal in addition to your congregate meals, or if your meal times would change, please update that information in ND Foods on the site application. The ESFP claim for reimbursement will look slightly different than the summer food claims that you completed in August and September. In August and September, you completed one claim for all of your sites combined. Starting in October, you'll be claiming for each of your sites individually. In order for us to report to USDA on how the waivers were utilized in our state, we must ask for additional data on the claim for reimbursement. One of the biggest differences is that we will be asking the number of meals reported be separated by congregate and non-congregate meal distribution. Of course, we understand that some schools right now may not be currently separating out the meal counts based on congregate and non-congregate. So if you're not sure for the October claim, please use your best guess when dividing up the total meals served when filling out the October claim. Starting in November, all meals should be tracked separately. At the end of October, I will email step-by-step instructions to each school to assist in completing the new ESFP claim in ND Foods. Please note that the reimbursement rates for breakfast, lunch, and snack under this program are the same whether you are serving congregate or non-congregate meals. Sponsors that were new to the program this fall will be audited in November. Just like all of the new sponsors that started back in March, everyone was audited this past summer. So desk audits will be conducted instead of on-site visits. It is yet unsure if desk audits will need to be conducted for returning sponsors. We are waiting for further guidance from USDA. Some of the documentation that we will be requesting is meal counting reports or count tally sheets, production records, and CN labels and recipes. Please make sure that you are keeping good records of all your meal services. As a reminder, the current program training video was created and published back in September. All new sponsors were required to watch, while returning sponsors were encouraged to view, as there were many changes to the program now that schools were back in session. We will keep that up on our website all school year in case you have any questions or have new staff that need to take this training. I had to put up a little virtual high five image up there to send out to you guys. We can't thank you enough for the work that you do to ensure the children are receiving meals. Our office contact information is listed here for any questions or concerns. Thank you.
If you guys do have any questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat. If you are on the phone and want to speak, you can *6 to unmute yourself, or anybody can unmute themselves and speak if you like.
Melissa, we do have one question. They want to know if they should continue verification.
This is Linda. I'll answer that question. We haven't received any definite guidance from USDA regarding the verification, free and reduced priced eligibility, anything along that line. We are encouraging districts that are collecting free and reduced priced applications to hold on to them. I would, if you do verification, it's fine. I mean, there's really no benefit to, the families won't lose any benefits if you verify and find that they didn't enter the correct information. However, since the summer food service program is going to operate for the entire school year, it's really not necessary to do that at this time.
Okay, they want to know, should they serve meals to a daycare and they're saying we serve meals to a daycare and Head Start. Would there be a separate area where these meals can be claimed?
So this is Melissa. We actually became aware of this situation and that schools are providing meals to daycare centers and Head Starts. And so luckily enough, on our site application, we were able to build in a portion where schools can report if they are, offering to an outside entity, whether that be a Head Start or a daycare. And then there's some follow-up questions on that site application. If you're not charging for those meals, charging the Head Start or the daycare, then you can claim those meals. You should be claiming those meals under the summer program. Again, that information is you guys will fill that out on the site application, and then that's how those meals will be claimed. So if you guys have questions when you get to that portion, you can always let us know.
Can summer food offer a smaller portion size for preschool age?
Well, under this summer food service meal pattern, there is no difference for age groups. It's just a straight serving size for breakfast, lunch, and snack.
Will this recording be posted to the
We will send a recording link out with any other information to the exact same email us that we sent this out to when it is available.
For the 30-day carryover, does this mean we will keep those that did not submit an application at the status they were on in your system as they were getting free meals?
We aren't entirely sure about that question yet. We have a call with USDA in a week or so, and that's going to be one of the questions I send. So we will follow up with you after we get more guidance from USDA.
Do you think the feds will use last year's free and reduced numbers for our title funds if we do the free and reduced applications, if we don't do the free and reduced applications?
Okay, so we've been looking into this, and there's a couple of different options. And what we are actually hoping to be able to do is provide maybe 3-4 options to districts, and then the districts can choose whichever one works best for them. But we don't know yet if that's going to be allowed. Definitely using last year's numbers might be one of the main options available. We've also looked at using direct certification data instead of the free and reduced data, because we continue to get the direct certification information regardless of whether or not the students are applying for free reduced price meals. Some other options may also be available. We did look at possibly collecting October numbers this year, even if we aren't collecting the school lunch claims, but maybe collecting those October numbers just to see how they compare to last year's numbers and see if they might be more accurate for the district. So we're still collecting information and still looking into that, but there's definitely some options that we're looking into.
As a follow-up clarification, if we have not started verification, we do not need to do this, correct?
As of right now, I would say no, because the eligibility information is not going to be used for free reduced price meals, for providing free or reduced price meals through the National School Lunch Program. The only time that I would say you do need to do verification is if you are choosing to continue to operate the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program this school year. Also, for CACFP, a regular CACFP center would still be collecting the applications, but verification does not apply there.
ESP snack can now be reimbursed from August through October through NSLP, even though we have been on SFSP. As of October 1, we are on the at-risk program.
Okay. Yes, you can claim the snacks through NSLP up to October 1 in this situation, and then as of October 1, the snacks would be claimed through the at-risk program. But the district can go and adjust their claims to include those snacks from August and September.
Renee Schwab said we were to be reviewed this year. It was pushed back to January. What will happen with this?
We are looking at possibly collecting some of the review information yet this year. The full reviews will not be completed, in entirety. However, there are pieces of the school reviews that can be completed offsite and independent of running the National School Lunch Program. We are again waiting for some guidance and some follow up from USDA on this, whether or not we'll be allowed to complete reviews that way. And we will then get out to the, get that information out to the schools that were up for reviews to let them know.
Is it okay that we follow the free and reduced in Power School, so it's noted, but put the price in the Power Lunch as 0 so that it's still noted they are free and reduced for reports and other funds?
Yes, that's absolutely perfect. That's exactly how we would like to see it being done.
If all meals are done for K through 12 in the same building, is it okay to use the serving size as has the higher grades for all the children?
Well, that depends if the school is operating, even though they're operating the summer food service program, they have the option to use either the summer food service meal pattern, which is a straight meal pattern, serving size is the same for all ages, or they can use the NSLP meal pattern that gives you some variance in the sizes based on the age of the child. So it depends on what meal pattern that you're using. If you're using summer food, you'll have to use the same serving size for all the kids. If you're doing NSLP, then you would follow the NSLP meal pattern, then you would follow that meal pattern and those serving sizes.
Okay, that's it for now for questions. Does anybody want to unmute and ask or type anything else in the chat? Okay, nothing for now.
All right, well, thank you again for joining us today. If you have any further questions, feel free to send them to Melissa. Her contact information is on the final slide of the presentation. We have recorded the presentation and it will be emailed out. If anything else comes up, we will be sure to send it out to all of you and let you know. And if there's, you know, we may plan on doing another webinar in 2-3 weeks if there seems to be a lot more significant information. Again, thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, so